This is Tilted Podcast.
You intro us.
No, I'm introing. I'm here. We're here. We're ready to go, baby. It's time.
There he is.
Week one. Week one of football. I am beyond the words excited to know that my 49ers at the end of this are going to be world champions. So it's going to be a great time to watch football. Man, too much fantasy the last couple of weeks. It's been hectic for all of us.
Drowning in fantasy football.
Drowning.
It's
And
ridiculous.
then while you're coming up for air, fantasy baseball just takes your legs out and you can't swim, and now you just sink to the bottom because people are ruthless. And winning means everything. So friendships don't matter,
boy.
just winning. But other than that, we got a lot to dive in on this one. Obviously,
Yes,
first week
sir.
of the season. We're going to talk about some bold predictions from our guys. And once again, I'm here with my boy Brad and my boy Anthony. So we're
What's
gonna
up, y'all?
gonna have a little good time. I'm gonna let Anthony kind of run the start of this of how he wants to run it, because I have been very lazy this week, guys. I apologize.
We're gonna go through some bold predictions for the season, and then we're gonna give our predictions for the Super Bowl and playoff picks, and then I'm gonna kind of dive into Week 1 and what we're most excited about, and then we are going to pick Week 1. And every week we will keep a tally on who does well, and then I will by far be at the top of that leaderboard every week, and then we'll have a little trash talk associated with it. So, Brad, you want to Week 1 of football? It's back. Everybody has a chance.
Down on that. Sports Center.
Everybody's undefeated. What do you give us some bold takes? Give us some stuff
Why
you're
is it
looking
always
forward
on
to
me,
this
man?
season.
I want to hear what you have to say, but I guess I'll go.
I
Oh,
say, if
you
you
know
don't
what?
want it, I'll take it. If you don't want it, I'll
No,
take
you know
it.
what? I just think we're all excited.
we are.
I think that we all in the end have some big disagreements about how some teams are going to do. So that's the good thing. I actually feel like a big shock this year when we go through the bracket. You're going to see that there's a team in the AFC East that's kind of dominated things recently that I don't. It just feels like they're going to finally have a downfall. So I don't see the Bills being what the Bills have been. Could be wrong, right? It might be wishful thinking. We'll just see. In the AFC, I also kind of feel like I'm struggling to say it, but I actually do kind of feel like the Steelers are going to kind of, instead of win 9, I think they're going to win 10. And I think they're going to sneak in. Still struggling to say it. I don't really know how the quarterback situation works out, but I think that's definitely something that most people aren't thinking. And then the biggest one I think Lamar is going to get over the hump. So even though I'm a Dolphins fan, I think they're going to make it far and do well, and I'm excited to watch the season. And I think Lamar gets over the hump.
Boy, I couldn't disagree with you more.
I know.
I
That's what I love.
think I personally a couple things, bold predictions for mine is I think this is Mike Tomlin's last year as head coach of Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he is. I don't know, just neglected the offensive side of the ball and has tried to play catch up and throw band-aids on those quarterback positions ever since Big Ben left. And I think this is it for him, man. I think Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are both looking for new teams next year. And I think it is an overhaul in Pittsburgh. And then I also think, although I am known as a closet Cowboy fan because I rooted for him as a kid, young kid, because I was a big Deion fan. I don't think the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs this year. I think Jerry Jones is all in, is going to bite him in the ass a little bit, and they are, they don't have much of a running game. They're hoping to rekindle some stuff with Zeke and Dalvin Cook now. The weapons are limited. I mean, it's really the CD show, and I think Dak's gonna struggle, and it's gonna be awkward, right? It's gonna go in his final year of his contract. McCarthy's final year of his contract. Micah is due for a deal, and what happens? I see a new regime coming into Dallas next year as well.
Here's what's funny, and I like a lot of everything both you have said, even though I still don't think Lamar wins the Super Bowl. I really do believe that Dak is going to have I think Dak will have a fairly good year, as he always does. He has shown he can be a good quarterback, and I think we can agree the guy's a pretty good quarterback. I think the team collapses pretty fast. And if one guy's not holding all the weight, the team just falls apart. It's the team effort there, it seems to just lack real bad. One of my biggest bold predictions: Dak Prescott will not be a Cowboy next year, and there's two teams that I think he'll go to. My first one is the Raiders. It's I honestly do think I do think the Raiders will. I mean, why not? The guy can play, man. Let him throw the ball around. I think you got Devontae Adams there. He gets a quarterback that can toss a ball. Look at CeeDee Lamb. Devontae Adams would be in heaven to get a quarterback like that, right? But you didn't mention my other team, I think, where Dak could fall. Steelers. What a not a great spot for him to go in with a new head coach. They would probably go heavy. I do think this is a very bad year for the Steelers. I think the defense is going to have so much weight on their shoulders that it's like unbearable to hold. Last year was bad. This year is going to be even worse, in my opinion.
That's the same thing every year, though.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? Mike Tomlin has always gone 500. He's never not gone 500. It's the first year he will go under 500.
I don't think so.
I firmly do. I don't think Russell Wilson has it. But one more thing.
I think that team is really dependent on TJ Watt. And if he's healthy, he gives them 2 or 3 wins, 4 wins, right? Like added to whatever record I think they're going to be. But he historically gets injured, right? He's had a lot of injury problems. And if he's not there, I think with him, you're guaranteed 4 wins. Can that offense get you 5 more, 6 more? I just don't see it. That offensive line, I mean, it was like second and third strings of Buffalo in the preseason game, and that offensive line was getting torched. So I don't know. I just don't see it. I feel like you're behind the 8 ball offensively. I like Jalen Warren and I like George Pickens. I know Brad hates George Pickens, but I like George Pickens and I like Jalen Warren. But I think they're still, really trying to ride this Najee train, which is off the rails. And I just don't see it, right? And we'll see. I think it has a lot to do with the AFC overall. I think the AFC is loaded compared to what the Steelers have offensively. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's gonna be a wild ride. I guess we could fall into, since we're talking about end of the year expectations for some of these teams. What about MVP standings? Anthony, who do you got as your MVP?
So my MVP this year is someone that I think is getting his team is added to the talent by subtracting a huge talent. And I think this is Josh Allen's MVP year. I think Stephon Diggs took a lot of drama, brought a lot of drama onto that team. It forced Josh Allen to focus on him, and maybe didn't let him play as freely. I love Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel. I think Dalton Kincaid catches over 100 balls this year. I think that offense gets opened up. I love James Cook. I think that offense gets opened up and really lets Josh run it. I think this is Josh's MVP year.
Like that's definitely a bold prediction for MVP. I like it.
That's it.
Brad, what do you got?
I don't know if it's bold. I mean, he's been at the top of the MVP odds pretty much every year the last 3 or 4 years. I think we're all kind of, you got to pick a quarterback, right? And so then it's like, who's going to go the furthest? I said it before. I feel like this is Lamar's year. It's the second year in that offense. They're loaded with weapons, right? It's finally got a real running back. They have depth at running back. It's got a few weapons now. Not just Andrews at tight end. Likely will be something that will continue to help, right? We're going to see a lot of double tight end sets with them. He's going to continue to obviously wreak havoc running the ball. Their defense is ridiculous. I just think the second year being in the offense is going to really help him. He's obviously talented, right? He's one of the more talented quarterbacks, and I feel like KC is still going to be right there, but it just feels like this might be their year, and if it's their year, then it's got to be the quarterback. So that's kind of my thought process on the deal.
My only thing about that is it does seem like when it comes to MVP that it's the people that vote on this get bored, right? Because really, Mahomes should probably win it every single year, and this would be, if he wins it this year, it's Lamar's 3rd year. And I think if you get a quarterback that comes out, really puts it together from top to bottom and puts his team in a number 1 or 2 seed, maybe it's Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, someone that hasn't won it before. I just feel like they tend to go the new story. And I feel like that's, although Lamar probably at the end of this will most definitely be in the running and very much deserve it. But I think one of the biggest things I heard talking about MVP is like Joe Montana won 2 MVPs. That dude was probably the most valuable player every year he played for at least 4 or 5 years, right? But he only won 2. Peyton, there's a lot of years you can look at basketball and think LeBron James probably should have more than 4, but he only had 4 because it's now it's James Harden, and now it's Steph Curry, and now the latest and greatest story. So I think the MVP voters lean that way, which is why I think Lamar probably doesn't win a second consecutive.
Yeah, we'll see. I feel like if he leads them, they're the 1 seed in the AFC. He puts up the numbers again. He's going to win it again. And then I think it'll be the same thing. I agree with you, but I don't see anything wrong with him winning 2 in a row, especially if he leads them as the 1 seed.
I do see something wrong with that, and that's because there's a young new quarterback that's only gotten his team better, and he did shine a little bit. And this is a very bold. It's also bold in my opinion. I have CJ Stroud. CJ, you've got a defensive minded coach, man. Defensive minded coach. That defense has gotten big and strong. They didn't have a run game last year. We need to think about this. This guy did all this work as a quarterback with no run game. You add that run game.
Played well for them.
Yeah, but not like it wasn't as good as it could have been,
So I agree, Tyler, but the only thing, I'm connected to the Texans here. The only thing I would say is they had a very soft schedule last year. It's totally different now.
It is definitely amped up. It is a sophomore year. I do think CJ Stroud puts the sophomore slump to the side, and I think this kid plays ball. I think they've only boosted his team by bringing in, Diggs. Yeah, and Diggs does take a big, he's like a glowing target, in everybody's mind. But here's the thing. Nico Collins is a stud. Tank Dell, stud. These dudes are like, who do you cover? It's kind of like the Niners. Who do you cover? They've got a younger tight end who's, it's Schultz, right? I'm correct. Yeah, Dalton Schultz. Yeah. Who do you cover? Now they've picked up another good running back, and the dump passing, the screens. D'Amico Ryans sat under Kyle Shanahan for a couple seasons. Like those great defensive minds that sit behind really, really strong offensive minded coaches always seem to translate that pretty well. And from just watching strictly defense only guys that didn't get enough offensive help as a head coach, they don't have a good OC. Their teams usually are pretty hard to handle. You know what I'm saying?
There is something to be said about Diggs. Is what I called it addition by subtraction. He wasn't in Buffalo, but the one thing that he did when he went to Houston was they restructured his contract and essentially made it's a 1-year deal. Yeah. So I would assume they're going to get the best version of Stephon Diggs that you can get, because he's playing for a contract next year, whether it be with Houston or another team.
Yep.
And he did that he was like, I'm going to bet on myself. Let's restructure the money. I'll get money this year, whatever it is. And I have no guaranteed money, no years left. So it's not like he can't go into Houston and be a drama queen. And he can't go in there and stir up a bunch of shit, because then it's like, well, they're not going to give him another contract, and what team is, and what amount of money are they going to pay him? So I do think you get the best version of Stephon Diggs this year.
I didn't.
You get it.
Go ahead.
You get a good version, but it's still Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still a ball player. But
I mean,
there is one bold prediction I forgot to add. I wanted to add, and this is specifically for somebody in this gorgeous camera view of mine. I do truly believe the Raiders are going to have a awkwardly good year. And I know some Raider fans are like, I don't want this because they want a quarterback. I really think that their defense is a lot better than people realize. The defense is think gotten so good. And they've got a coach that these guys want to play for. If you listen to I think I've gone through countless interviews and just listening to these guys talk about their head coach. They talk about him as like they'll follow this guy into battle. Like they'll take their jersey off and fight in the street with him, because that's how much the heart he gives to that locker room. And yeah, we don't have a top tier quarterback. Minshew's the kind of guy we did some stats on him, right? He's close to Trevor Lawrence. But at the end of the day, they just need to put the ball in play and let your playmakers work, man. They've got players that can play. I really do. My bold prediction, though, this is my bold predictions. There's 3 of them. They beat Kansas City twice, and they make the playoffs.
What?
Yes. I
Okay.
really do.
I'm
I really
so
do.
glad.
Hey,
I'm so glad that you guys are both delusional.
Hey, Anthony didn't say
This is
nothing. This is
awesome.
all me. This is me
okay.
just doing my firm research.
Yeah.
You have a guy that has potential to win Defensive Player of the Year, and Max Crosby. The dude's a stud.
Research.
Reese, go look, Brad.
You heard him. He said
Brad,
research.
when we talk about at the end,
Well, come on, bro.
if the Raiders aren't a top 10,
we're gonna talk about it in the
if
end.
they're not a
They're
top
gonna
10
be.
defense at the end of the year, Brad, I'll give you a handy in the back alleyway.
No. You said beat Kansas City twice and get in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Different deal.
if they beat Kansas City twice,
Different
they're
deal.
probably winning that division.
Well, they're not going to.
Listen,
So let's move on. We gotta get
the
into this.
regime- Rome
great
will
segue.
fall.
It's a
Rome,
great segue. Let's get into
Rome
who's
is gonna
win.
fall.
Yeah. You need to go into. Let's see who you have in the playoffs.
Oh,
If
are
that's the deal, I cannot wait.
we going
let's
playoffs
go.
right away? All right. Well,
Yeah, let's get into it.
unfortunately, I do have the Raiders making it, but they do lose in the first round. Unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Who do they lose
They
to?
lose to the Dolphins.
No. No.
We came to the other side now.
I do think the Dolphins have a really good team this year, and they're gonna make some splashes. Even with young CJ, I still think there's a lot of youth there. They're growing. I did put the Jets in here to make it, and it was kind of that weird. Me and Brad's are very, very similar,
Copy
but-
and paste.
close. But no, it was similar to what I had wrote down. I do think this is the original Super Bowl that should have happened last year, Niners versus Ravens, which Niners probably would have lost again anyways. But, being a homer, I do really think, man, like on paper and just by all the numbers, the Niners do have the best overall roster in football. I do think that. But I'm a homer, man. What can you say? Every year, I am always real with Anthony. I do want them to win. Hell yeah, I want them to win. But there's been times when we talked. I think I even told you last year, Anthony, I didn't think they were going to win. The defense just wasn't good enough, and then they came in there and barely squeaked by Detroit and barely squeaked by Green Bay. And I'm like, damn, bro, this team looks like maybe they can win it. And then the real 49ers defense came out at the end of that game last year. I don't know.
Well, it's now or never, man. I hate to say it. It's. I mean, you
We
can
were looking
only
at those
you can only
numbers.
dance around. You can only dance around the salary cap so much, man.
Yeah.
You got big deals coming in. You got 2 years of guaranteed money with Trent Williams now. I don't know if you've seen that. It's not 1 year. It's 2 fully guaranteed years. You got your quarterback needs to be paid next year. Bosa's inflated. I mean, there's a lot of money to be spent. It's hard to put a roster from top to bottom as good as it is right now. I think it's got to be this year, or it's going to be
You know what, too? Let's talk about it. Ricky Pearsall might actually be back on the field. The guy took a bullet. And you know what's crazy?
He's in the weight room.
I saw something today that cracked me up. Michael Thomas hasn't been back on the field in 3 years since he stubbed his toe. Ricky Pearsall is going to be back on that field come week 1, week 2, baby.
So I don't know how real all this story is that I had read. I read the story on the kid. He's like 17-year-old kid, came up, robbed him at gunpoint. And they fought over the gun. The gun went off, shooting Ricky in the chest. He rips the gun out of this dude's hand and shoots him back with his own gun. He John Wicked his ass right back, and then got on an ambulance.
Yep.
And
and is back in the weight room today.
Yeah, there's no stop.
Thomas will not play this year again.
No. It's crazy, and it's funny. Me and you talked about that, Anthony, about Trent Williams coming out and being like, that contract got done. Like 2 days after that happened, and that was like
he talked about it.
He's like, man, it's just different when your teammates fall like that. You got at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to put your feelings aside and your emotion, and they got a deal done.
Did you hear what he said about Purdy? What your boy Trent Williams said about Purdy?
I did not catch that. He
said it's his job, and he's going to make sure Purdy gets what he deserves.
Oh shit!
Shit!
Purdy, I get
So-
paid this year. You get paid next year, brother. We're gonna make it happen.
Exactly. He's like, I'm gonna get mine. I'm 36, dude. I got you got a lot more years
Got
left.
young
than me,
buck
but yeah,
back there.
he's
Let's
gonna make
just
sure Purdy
wait.
gets what he deserves.
Let's just wait until football season starts Sunday morning before we post that picture of Purdy holding the
Sunday.
that.
Oh, I know.
that-
I got a
yeah.
good one. I got a good
Yeah,
one for you.
Tyler, you got one. We're gonna wait till we post it because it's gonna set some people off in one of our leagues. So
What was that? What was that?
there's gonna be a picture posted in one of our leagues that is gonna absolutely
Oh God.
set
Okay.
them
Gonna
off the
set
hinges.
that
All
group
right.
text on
Set 'em off.
fire, buddy.
The group
Hey,
text
let's
on
keep
fire.
going.
All right,
So
so-
who you
See what
got
Brad
going?
has.
Oh
So-
no, I thought, did he cover it all?
Yeah. I basically I got the Eagles
Niners,
obviously
Ravens.
coming. Eagles come in and they're gonna play the Bucks. I do think old Baker Mayfield, the boy's a baller, man. He's always just been on some weird teams. I think the Bucks are a great place for him. He'll continue to play well, and their Bucks will make the playoffs playing the Eagles. Lions, just another team you can't sleep on. They're really good. They're young, dude. They're going to be good for a while. I really do think Detroit's going to be good for a while. Rams are a little nerve-wracking, man. They're kind of like the Niners. They've got old money and old players. I don't know when the downfall with the Rams is. I don't know what the freaking running back situation is with the Rams. Why their starting running back is a punt return or a kick returner is baffling to me. So
I still don't believe it.
any of you fantasy guys, you might want to go ahead and sit on old Blake, see if he might be taking half the carries. Falcons.
Blake the Great.
Yeah, Blake the Great. I think the Falcons will have a pretty good year if oh boy don't get hurt again. I really do think it's a year though that we see that if Drake London and Pitts are actually truly good ball players because they got a guy who can throw the ball for them. Bijan, obviously that Bijan got jacked because of bad coaching. Guy still put up decent numbers with bad coaching. How are you on the 2-yard line and not handing the ball to that guy? I don't know. You must have hit the pipe pretty hard in the morning before you went to coach that game because it don't make no sense why that guy didn't have 15 touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
Jordan Love, man, Bakersfield boy. I think Packers are, Matt LaFleur, how you ever say his name? It's just another good team, another good team. I hate the fact that Packers are always good. It's very, very annoying. Dolphins, Raiders. Man, I really do like the Raiders. I do like the Raiders defense a lot. Offense makes me a little nervous, but just give Devontae Adams the ball. Jacoby Myers. Let those guys yak up and do their job as wide receivers. I'm not even going to mention the other team because I absolutely hate them. But they always make the playoffs, and that curly-headed Kermit the Frog fuck can figure it out another day. But other than that, I do see the Ravens taking the number 1 AFC, the Niners taking the number 1 NFC, and they do end up winning. The Niners take the whole thing. But with all that being said, and me rooting up Anthony's team, let's see if Anthony even has his Raiders making the playoffs. Go to Anthony's. Oh wait, I clicked the wrong one. I apologize. Hold on. There we go. It should be good now. Oh, what do you know?
So yeah, I'm gonna run through it relatively quickly. I got the Bills being the number 1 seed in the AFC and the Lions being the number 1 seed in the NFC. I do have the Rams winning the NFC West and the Niners getting a wild card slot. I think the Rams, not really secretly, they've always built really good teams and they never had draft picks. The last few years, they've actually had draft picks and they've invested in the offensive line, continue to invest in the defensive line and the defense. I do see that the Saints winning the NFC South and the Falcons getting a wild card spot. I think the Eagles are kind of runaway in the NFC East, but I do think the Commanders are fighting for a playoff spot there at the end. I wanted to put them in the playoff as I considered this episode for the last couple of weeks, but with the fact of trading Jahan Dotson and not making a trade for Brandon Ayuk, I don't really care for their depth at receiver. They have Luke McCaffrey. Who knows who he's going to be as a rookie slot guy. Terry McLaurin's really good, but I think if they had added Ayuk, I probably have him in the wild card spot. I do think the Bears are going to be a lot better. They're going to be playing a last place schedule. They're going to be playing a last place schedule. I think Caleb's really good. I think he's plug and play. I think he's going to have a few bumps in the road, but I think he's going to get a wild card spot as well. I got the Texans coming out of the AFC South. I got the Jets and a wild card spot out of there, and I got the Bengals winning the North, and the Ravens getting a wild card spot. But there is something to be said, and Tyler almost stole most of my thunder. There, you could say what you want about the Raiders, and you could say what you want about Bo Nix and Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh, but this is the best culture I have seen on a Raiders team in 20 plus years. Tyler said it. They will run through a wall for Antonio Pierce, and it would not surprise me at all if you look up and it's October and the Raiders are 4-0. They have a defensive front with a guy you know very well in Christian Wilkins. They have an up-and-coming pass rusher that I don't know if they're going to be able to pay, and Malcolm Kuntz when it's his time. Max Crosby is going to win Defensive Player of the Year, or at least should, or at least just run hell through everybody's offense. And they have Jack Jones, who's a sniper on defense, and secretly, I hate to say this, but love to say it, they have a very young linebacking core that a lot of people don't think about in Divine Diablo, and then Etchenberg from Ohio State, who is an absolute tackling machine. I watched that dude play linebacker for the last few years. They got him late in the draft this year. Their linebacking core is super unknown. It's all about the defense. It's Zamir White running the ball, taking the out of the ball and running it and playing good defense, and Gardner Minshew just making plays when he needs to. The Raiders win the AFC West and beat the Chiefs in Vegas wildcard weekend. And then the Bills win the Super Bowl, beat the Lions. That's what's going to happen.
I don't agree with that, but it's okay. I do agree with the Raiders.
I'm just looking around the room trying to figure out what the fuck's going on.
I just don't think you're paying attention.
Look,
you're not paying attention.
Wait. Oh no, I'm paying attention. I cannot wait to play this shit back. This is phenomenal. You guys are both on it. This is great. I'm excited.
And when they win the AFC West, we're gonna come on here and I want you to give me one of these, Brad.
We will have a side jelly bean wager on that if you would like.
Let me have my moment, Brad. When they win the AFC West, I want you to come on here and give me one of these. Raiders. Give me one of those. When they do it. Raiders. Yes. AFC West. Let's go.
Antonio Pierce. Listen, when he took over, the defense was good, right? That dude made that defense elite. They were 5-4 under him with a bad team. And they made some moves.
The offense, like Brian Hoyer started a game for
golly, man.
Yeah, it can only be better.
Yeah.
And they're AFC West. They're coming for him. They're going to make Mahomes and all those other dudes run for their life. And it starts this weekend. Max Crosby against a rookie tackle. Let's see what Justin Herbert does, missing most of training camp.
With all that said,
Raiders by 2 touchdowns.
Let's see. That's big predictions.
Board it.
Let's
go, Brad.
Let's go ahead and see Brad. Brad's over here all in shambles of everybody else's.
No, I'm loving this. This is fantastic.
I want to see this.
Let's just make this happen here quick. I'm just going to run through division champions, give you my wild cards, give you my matchups. NFC East, I got the Eagles. I think they're built to last. NFC North, I think the Lions, it's a runaway. The South, it's back and forth for me. The Saints and Falcons, I went with the Falcons, 9-8 record. They'll be the lowest of the division champions. I do still have the Niners winning the West. Wild cards, I have the Packers 10-7, the Rams 10-7, and the Bucks at 9-8. I do think the Bears will end up around 9-8. I feel like it'll be a tiebreaker situation. So first round, Eagles versus Bucks. Eagles win. Niners versus Rams. Rams will pull the upset off. Falcons, Packers. I got the Packers. Semifinal NFC Championship weekend. Or no, not NFC Championship weekend. Rams, Lions, Eagles, Packers, Eagles. I end up with the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I have them beating the Lions, even though the Lions were the 1 seed. AFC East, I got my Dolphins winning. The North, I got the Ravens 12-5 being the overall 1 seed. I do have the South back and forth. I was unsure. I kind of feel like the Colts could have a good year, but I feel like 9-8, 10-7 is best. I got the Texans winning. Still have the Chiefs winning the West. Bengals, Jets, Steelers, wild card. Dolphins playing the Steelers, Dolphins winning. Chiefs playing the Jets, Chiefs win. Texans playing the Bengals. I'm going to give the Texans the win. So that sets us up. Ravens, Texans. Feel like the Ravens are going to win. I can't wait for this matchup because I feel like we owe them one, and I know we all want them to lose.
I think everybody
So I got
owes the Chiefs
I,
one.
I don't know if we owe them one, but I just feel like the NFL owes them one. I got the Dolphins upsetting the Chiefs. End up Ravens Dolphins. I want to go with the Dolphins with my heart, but like I said earlier, I feel like this is Lamar's year. I picked the Ravens. I do have the Ravens winning the Super Bowl this year. So I think we all end up with 3 different teams, right? Ravens, Bills,
Yeah.
Niners.
Do you
I
have?
do
Do you
not
have
even
that
have the
game
Bills in
being-
the playoffs.
That's
I feel like
crazy.
well, they're going to finish 10-7. They're going to lose on the
Drug
tiebreaker.
test.
I'm sorry.
Hey, do you have that divisional game, the Chiefs and Miami being in Miami or Kansas City?
I have that game being in Miami. I'm sorry, because I have the Dolphins 11-6 and the Chiefs 11-6, but the Dolphins having the tiebreaker. I feel like if we go to KC, the game's a different direction, right? In
Very
the
cold.
cold, we're not built for the cold. That's just not going to happen. Well, guess what? The next week we get to go to the cold in Baltimore. It won't be good.
Yeah.
So we're just not built. That pass game is just not built to throw in that weather. It is what it is. I feel like our run game's better, but in the end, I feel like the Ravens are the best team.
Well, I know that you're wrong, but that's okay.
Yeah,
That's okay.
we're
now that
always
we
all
know,
wrong.
now that we know where we think this is all going to go, let's take a look at how we get there. And let's start with week 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to run through the games and we're going to each make our predictions for the games. We are going to utilize the point spread, just for the sake of our jelly bean argument in the college world. And we're going to keep track of this and see who has the best record every week and put up standings from the week before. So let's week 1 tomorrow night. Football starts. We got the Ravens going into Kansas City. Kansas City is a 3-point favorite at home. Tyler, what do you got?
Unfortunately, when you go to Arrowhead, it's a hard place to play. I got Arrowhead. Got Kansas City win that one.
Kansas City covering 3. Kansas City covering 3 there. Brad.
You've heard everything I've said. I'm Ravens.
Yeah.
I feel like it's happening this year. Let's just see what happens. I know.
I do like. I think when I first looked at this game, I seen Kansas City -2.5, and it almost led me there. Seeing it at +3, I'm gonna take Baltimore +3.
Yeah.
So then we go to Friday night, and we got the Packers and Eagles playing in Brazil, where you cannot wear the color green because it is gang affiliated, and they decided to send the Packers and the Eagles there. The Eagles are wearing black helmets and black pants and white jerseys to avoid wearing as much green as they can. Meanwhile, the Packers are fucked because they're the Packers. What a wild scene. What a great place for a football game.
Why don't they just wear all yellow?
Maybe they'll wear the bumblebees. I don't know.
Yeah, the bumblebees.
So we got the Eagles being 2.5-point favorites on a neutral field. I am picking the Eagles to cover that 2.5. Brad, who you got?
I'm the same. I'm going Eagles to cover the 2.5.
Same here.
All right. So Sunday morning, not in any particular order, we got Arizona going to the Super Bowl, soon-to-be Super Bowl champion Buffalo Bills. Bills and the MVP Josh Allen are a 6-point favorite at home. Tyler, who do you got?
I got Bills covering.
You got the Bills covering 6. Bradley?
Yeah.
So I am going Buffalo. This game I do have the feeling could be closer. I feel like Kyler's gonna have a good year. I'm gonna go Buffalo game 1 though.
I also have the Bills covering 6. We got the Panthers and the Alabama boy, Bryce Young, going to Nolans week 1 against Derek Carr and company. Horton, who you got? Like, the Saints are 4.5-point favorites at home.
I do think there's gonna be a better year for Carolina, but at the end of the day, I think Derek Carr is on a hot streak at the end of the season. I just think Derek Carr has this team where he needs him now. I actually have the Saints covering.
I do as well. I got the Saints covering 4.5.
I'm the same. I feel like Bryce will have a better year, but New Orleans is a tough place to play,
Ooh,
man.
yeah.
It's a tough defensive front to open up against. On the home opener, that crowd's gonna be ready. This is gonna be a fun one, and one that I almost highlighted this team in my bold predictions. I do not think they're gonna have a very good year. But you got the Broncos going into Seattle. Seattle's a team that I think has a lot of question marks. They got Gino on a 1-year deal, new head coach, whole new turnover there. Lots of receivers, but can they really get them the ball? You got the Broncos are getting 5.5 points on the road in Seattle. Brad, who you got?
I'm gonna go with 12th man. Tough place to play. Rookie quarterback. I just feel like that equals Seahawks probably winning by 6 or 7. So I like the 5.5.
There you go. Tyler, who you got?
I got Seattle by a field goal. So I'm going to take
So that
Denver.
means you are predicting.
I'm predicting Denver that they don't get the +4. They hold a +5. 5.5.
I am going to take the Broncos +5.5, but I think the Broncos went outright. I like the Broncos to go on the road. I think Sean Payton has that offense rolling, and it's going to roll pretty good until they come up against that Raiders defense. So I'm going to take the Broncos +5.5 there.
Oh, Lord.
We talked about this team a lot. We got the Cowboys on the road week 1 in Cleveland in the dog pound. Cleveland being 2.5-point favorites. I'm going to take the Cowboys +2.5 here. Brad, what do you got?
Man, it was 1.5 when I looked at it. I was leaning Browns. 2.5 scares me. I'm gonna still go with the dog pound. I think they'll win by a field goal.
Horton.
Dallas covers. I think CeeDee Lamb gets paid and he goes off.
So Dallas is underdogs. You're taking them. You're taking them +2.5.
Yeah.
That Cleveland defense is no joke.
No doubt. I just don't know about the quarterback, and I think the weather's not bad in Cleveland yet. I don't think. Hell, I guess I gotta look that up, but I don't think so. All right, we got. Ooh, this can be a good one. I think this could be one of the best games of the weekend. I really do. You got the Jaguars going to Miami, and they're getting a field goal advantage here. So you got the Dolphins favored by 3 points. Brad, we'll start with you.
Cheetah. Oh yeah. So you know I'm going there. The Dolphins are going to go there. The track meet begins. Yeah. We only added to the track meet, right? I mean, so yeah. I'm excited about the season. I'm trying to not be too excited, but we extended McDaniel. That's a good thing. I feel like it's going to be a big year. Jaguars are a decent team, but I feel like we'll cover the 3.5.
I think it's going to be a very competitive game, but I also have the Dolphins covering 3. Tyler, who do you got?
I'm the same boat. I think Jalen Waddle has a better year this year. I think he had a little bit of a down year, and I think that the Miami Dolphins really figure out their running situation this year. They got a really good back, and they've got an older dude that I just think Dolphins are going to be surprisingly good.
So maybe a fast forward to the Toilet Bowl, top 3 pick bowl, 4 or 5 pick bowl. We got the Vikings going to New York. Vikings on the road getting a point against Daniel Jones and Devin Singletary and company. I'm going to take the Vikings to cover that 1 point. I think they're just a better coach team. They have better offensive weapons. As long as Sam Darnold's not seeing ghosts in New York, we should be okay for at least week 1. I got the Vikings covering 1.
Man, I've got the Vikings. I'll tell you one thing I'm concerned about. The Vikings did lose Daniel Hunter to the Texans. That's a big loss up front, man. So that has me a little concerned. The Giants lost Saquon though. I'm gonna stick with my original pick. I'm gonna have the Vikings to win the game.
Okay.
The Giants fucking suck. It's just plain and simple. Justin Jefferson and Jordan Adams, bro, you just give them the ball and they're gonna do everything they need to. That's it.
You just can't make mistakes.
Yeah, Sam Darnold needs to play smart football. He luckily sat under, Kyle Shanahan last year, learned a lot. He talked about how much he learned about seeing the field. I think Sam Darnold may rekindle a lost career. I really do.
He's got the coach. He's got the coach.
Got the coach to do it. Yeah, and the team's built, ready to go. They just need a guy to sling the ball.
You got the Patriots.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I got Minnesota covering.
Okay. I think we picked up on that. We got the Patriots on the road in Cincinnati. A lot of noise in Cincinnati with Jamar Chase. He was at practice today, suited up, limited in practice. A lot of points here, 8.5. Cincinnati's got to cover 8.5 against New England. That's a lot of points in the NFL. Brad, I see you grimacing. I want your pick first.
It's a lot, but they're going to cover. The Patriots suck. I mean,
They do.
I anticipate them being maybe a 4-win, 5-win team at the most. Bengals are obviously
I
going to
agree.
compete to win the division. I'm going to say the Bengals will cover.
I agree. I got the Bengals covering 8.5. I got them win by a couple touchdowns at least. What do you got, Tyler?
I got Patriots and Giants fighting for fucking the number 1 pick. I really do.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think the Bengals, man, all the noise, I think that gets put aside, man. He's not going to play. That guy loves football and he loves his quarterback. You know, Burrow's his boy. He ain't going to let Burrow hang out there and dry up. He's going to let him play. I think they win by 21.
So, yeah, it's a fair pick. We got, and I said earlier, I think the Dolphins Jaguars could be the best game of the week, but the one that I keep coming back to that it had me at a blender besides that game and the Eagles Packers game, the one that I had the most struggle picking because I think both these teams are going to be so fun. Texans on the road in Indianapolis, basically a field goal favorite, 2.5 points. I got the Texans covering 2.5, but man, Anthony Richardson.
We don't know yet.
Could flip this game on its head, and I could be very wrong on this, but I'm going to go with C.J. Stroud and Stephon Diggs to cover 2.5. Horton, who you got?
Same, right with you. I think Houston's a good squad.
Houston boy, Brad.
I feel like this is going to go 1-1 on the year. That's where I'm struggling.
I do too.
And Houston is horrible to play at. I think I'm flipping. I'm taking the Colts at home. Yep, I'm taking the Colts at home.
I almost flipped.
I'm taking the Colts at home this week. Yep.
I like it. I don't. Yeah,
I'm struggling. I'm going Colts at home.
I was in a blender on that one too. All right, the mighty Las Vegas Raiders.
All right, I talked you up too much, guy. Relax.
Going into their beach house in LA, where it just came out online today that is going to be 65% Raider fans. It is essentially a Raider home game at SoFi against a rookie offensive tackle, quarterback who's missed most of the preseason. Raiders covered 3.5 for sure. I got the Raiders plus 3.5.
I think you're going to be so upset when Harbaugh starts your season off with the loss.
Don't say that shit. Not my boy Harbaugh. Not
your boy, motherfucking Harbaugh, is going to beat your team come Sunday.
Not Jim, dude.
I have the Chargers covering the 3.5 at home. I feel like they're going to absolutely pound the rock. I do. They can run the ball. I know you think I'm crazy, and that's what I love about this shit.
See, I got
the Chargers.
I don't disagree. I think the Chargers have a chance to be a good run team. But what fucking running back's going to do it the way he needs it done? I just think
they got a mixture.
That's the problem. The identity is going to be a little lost. I think this is going to be a very defensive Raiders game, and it's going to come down to a game-winning field goal by the Raiders to fucking take down the Chargers.
Oh, if it's a game-winning field goal, it's going to be Dicker the kicker.
It doesn't matter. The Raiders are 3.5 point underdogs.
Yeah.
I got the Raiders plus 3.5. I think we're a little out of order, but I'm going to go with it anyway. On Sunday night, what a treat. Sunday Night Football, Matt Stafford going back to Detroit.
What a game. It's always a good game.
What a great Sunday night game. Lions favored by 3.5. I'm going to grab the Lions minus 3.5. Wouldn't shock me if it's the other way.
This is one of the hardest ones, and I was surprised it was, man. I don't know. I'm
sitting here. Brad? You got the 3.5.
So the interesting thing for me is, I mean, when you really get down to it, home field advantage has traditionally been 2.5 to 3 points, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they've got this almost like straight up half-point game, right? I mean, at a neutral field. So they really feel like the Rams are going to be good. Lions, man, they're just exciting, man. I'm going Lions. They're going to cover the 3.5.
Same situation as in Las Vegas. This team would die for their coach, man. They love their coach, so I think Lions.
You say that for both squads.
Lions.
Yeah,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But here's the
They
difference.
have offensive weapons.
Lions.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
The Lions are a lot younger than the Rams all around.
Yeah.
And it's just, I just think Lions are good. And I think last year that loss to the Niners, bro, it looked dominant. They look like they look like they were about ready to go win the whole thing. And
Yeah,
then it
I agree.
slowly faded away. Amon St. Brown is going to be an animal this year.
Yeah. Let's wrap up the last few of week 1.
Oh, yeah, we need to swap it over.
We got one more. Like I said, I know we're out of order, but we got a few more to finish us off here.
I will
We
make
got
sure it's
the
better next time. I apologize.
It's all good. We got the Commanders going into Tampa Bay. You guys are both all over Baker Mayfield. I think he's junk. I don't think he's ever had more than one consecutive year. I got Jaden Daniels going on the road and winning outright with Cliff Kingsbury. Commanders plus 3.5.
I'm just trying to figure out when the fuck I said something good about
I said
Baker
something
Mayfield.
good.
You guys both picked the Bucks to go to the playoffs.
Okay, but it's not
They-
just the
and he sucks.
quarterback.
Yeah, whatever.
I think the problem is the NFC is really good. They've got a lot of good teams that can make it. So it makes it harder for Washington to make that list. But at the end of the day, I do have Jaden Daniels winning the Rookie of the Year and going in here and absolutely dismantling Bucks and winning by 2 touchdowns.
Oh,
No,
wow.
no,
Yes.
no.
Yes.
Tampa Bay's going to win the
Yep.
game at home. Richard White will pound the ball. They still got
Do
weapons.
you have them covering 3.5, Brad?
I have them covering 3.5.
All right. The actual Rookie of the Year
It's going to be a 4
is at
touchdown
home
day.
at week 1.
No, he's not. Jaden Daniels is the rookie of the year.
The actual Rookie of the Year is at home in Chicago, hosting
No.
Tennessee.
No.
I got the Bears covering 4.5. Dude, Caleb Williams, the real deal.
The dude's good, man. I got Caleb also. Go ahead and I think they do cover Tennessee.
Well, Tennessee's bad. I agree. They'll win this week. They'll cover.
All right,
But
we
he's
got,
not that great.
we got the Steelers, Brad's playoff team, going to Atlanta to play Captain Kirk and the Dirty Birds. 3-point favorite for the Falcons.
Ooh.
What do you got?
Man, why do you pull these lines later? I had it at 2.5.
I pulled the lines the other day when
Go with
we
Atlanta.
got this thing.
Oh my lord!
I'm flipping.
I'm going the Falcons still. I'm still going to go the
You got the
Falcons because
I got
those are
the
2
Steelers
playoff teams
covering
for me.
3. I got the Steelers
3.
losing by a field goal, so I'm flipping to the Steelers on this one, being that it's plus 3. I like them to lose the game, but I like the Falcons to win by a field goal.
I'm gonna go with Bijan and Pitts and all the weapons, Cousins. I'm gonna say they're gonna cover. As much as I'm struggling to say it, they're gonna cover.
I'm the same. I think they cover. I think Bijan has a insanely good game.
So now, this obviously, I think this is at 4.5 or 5.5 now. But when I pulled this the other day, it was at 3.5. You got Aaron Rodgers on the road Monday Night Football against Tyler's Niners.
Did you pull this before Ayuk and Trent Williams?
Before Trent Williams, I think I pulled it just the other day when I texted to you guys. So
yeah, it's probably
I
before
think the
Trent.
lines may be up to. I think the lines may be up. If you want me to check an active line on this,
I'll look it up when we
I think
talk.
it's up. It's up. I think it's close to 5.5.
well,
It should be with him back.
I'll pull an active line on it right now, and we can go off of that because I don't like the 3.5. I don't think that's real. I don't think that's
not
reality. I pulled it the other day. It is 4.5, so it's been bet up to 4.5. I still like the Niners to cover 4.5.
Niners are covering. Go ahead, Tyler. Close it out, Mr. Niner fan.
Listen. Offensive Player of the Year, Christian McCaffrey, 2-Pete, is going to have a disgustingly good football year. Now, that's it. That's all I got. I've already said my piece.
Well,
World champs,
yeah,
baby.
you did.
World
I
champs.
just
We're
know
coming.
that I have his handcuff in all kinds of fantasy leagues.
I hope he stays healthy.
I hope he stays healthy.
I hope he stays healthy. You can fuck off with that. Don't even mention handcuffs.
Let's wrap this one up. I hope everybody enjoys week 1. Good luck to your fantasy teams unless you're playing me. I hope you lose. And enjoy football. Enjoy week 1. We'll talk to everybody next time.
I know
The
we're
Bills
talking.
suck.
I know we're talking football
Patriots
real quick,
suck.
but real quick, I'll
The
ask
Jets suck.
one question before we dip out on this. Do we believe in the Ohtani 50-50?
Oh yeah.
Do you think that that's a hit?
I think the stolen bases are easy. The home runs.
He's at 44,
He's gotta get hot.
and they've
He's
still
at 44. He's
what,
got to have
3
another
weeks
little
left?
run.
3
Yeah,
weeks
he's got to have
left?
another little run. The thing is, yeah, it's going to be close. It's going to be. He's going to definitely do stolen bases. I think it's going to be close on the home runs.
Still
I hope he does
mind-blowing,
it.
man. What is he, like
Oh, it's
44 for
amazing.
47 right now or something like that?
It's
Like,
stupid.
wild.
He's ridiculous.
Dude's a freak to baseball. Well, guys, thank you so much for kicking it with us. We suck at this, and we're still learning and trying. Other than that, we're having a good time. That's all that matters, and we're glad you guys can stick it out with us. Football's back, baby. Let's kick down the goddamn door. You guys have a good night.
Raiders.
Thank you for watching. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we hope you join us again. If you could, please give us a like, subscribe, or follow at any of these social medias right here. And if you have any questions or concerns or something you want to discuss, please send us an email at tiltedpodcast24@gmail.com. Thanks, and have a great day.